Inspiring interviews with today's top landlords. This is the Rental Income Podcast. And now, Dan Lane.
Chase, you were on the podcast last year. For anyone that maybe didn't listen to your episode or doesn't remember, can you give us the real quick Cliff Notes version of your story?
Dan, last time we spoke, I kind of just went over how I got to where I am today, snowballing my profits into the next deal, and building a 54-unit portfolio of rental properties.
Are you still buying properties today?
Yeah, I'm looking every day, and I'm constantly making offers, trying to find the next deal, keeping them as close as I can to my properties that I currently have.
One of the big challenges that we have today is the prices are higher, the interest rates are higher. There's just not a ton of deals out there. Has that slowed you down over the last year?
It's definitely slowed me down. There's been a ton of interest in Indianapolis from out-of-state buyers that have pushed up the values of these homes. But there's still deals out there, and I've tried to save money with my labor cost, with keeping contractors busy and just giving them work to where they take care of me.
When Chase was on the podcast last year, he was profiting $20,000 a month from his rental properties. Today, he's grown his rental income and he's profiting $28,000 a month. And on the show today, we're going to figure out how he did it, how he's finding deals, how he's financing them. We'll also take a look at the numbers for one of his deals and the numbers for his entire portfolio. Joining us on the show today from Indianapolis is Chase Bauer. We'll take a quick break to thank our sponsors. We'll come right back and we'll talk to Chase. Are you thinking about investing in rental properties, but maybe you don't know where to start? My friends at MidSouth HomeBuyers make it simple. For over 23 years, they've been selling fully renovated turnkey rental properties in Memphis and Little Rock. We're talking new roofs, plumbing, electric, kitchens, bathrooms. Everything is brand new and done right. And here's the best part. Every property comes with a well-qualified tenant in place before you close. That means you get cash flow from day one. Plus, MidSouth continues to professionally manage the property for you after the sale, and they back it up with two powerful guarantees. You get a 1-year total maintenance warranty and a lifetime occupancy guarantee. Personally, I've bought 5 properties from them, and I couldn't be happier. If you want to talk to someone that's been through the process, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions, or if you're ready to get started, just go to MidSouthHomebuyers.com. That's MidSouthHomebuyers.com. It's a lot of work to find a really good rental property, and when you actually find that property, you want to make sure you're working with a lender that can get that loan closed. The lender that I recommend is Chaley Ridge from Ridge Lending Group. She's a nationwide lender, and her specialty is helping investors finance rental properties. She has a ton of loan programs, and she can find something customized to you for your situation. If you want to find out more or you're ready to get started today, just go to ridgelendinggroup.com. That's RIDGE lendinggroup.com, NMLS 42056. Chase, the cash flow that your rentals are making is really impressive. When we talked last year, you had a full-time job. Are you still working today?
Yes, I'm still working today, but I'm kind of planning on stepping away from my job in 2026 and kind of just going full-time real estate and maybe moving a little bit faster.
I mean, that seems to make a lot of sense. I mean, you're doing so well with this. Why not go all in? What stopped you from doing this already?
Kind of just having the security blanket of a full-time job with benefits and health insurance and a pretty decent pay to where I don't have to pinch as many pennies, if that makes sense,
Right.
you know?
Right. And when we talked last time, you were self-managing. Are you still self-managing today?
Yes, I am self-managing all of my units, and I think that I am always going to do a better job than a property management company. Once a week, I take a drive and just put eyes on things, and it takes me just a couple of hours. And a lot of times, these property management companies, they just really nickel and dime you. So I want to say I got quoted about $70,000 for property management, and with what it takes me to do as far as property management, it's not necessarily that difficult or time consuming.
Even with a full-time job, I mean, with working 40 plus hours a week, managing 54 units, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
No, not really. All of my tenants, I'm pretty upfront with, and I pretty much tell them like, hey, these are how things are going to go. Give me 24 hours to respond. Email me whatever you need done. We'll get it fixed. But I'm really firm about how I manage, and I put a lot of the responsibilities on those tenants.
Hey, that's great. Now let's talk about finding deals. So how are you finding deals today?
Luckily, I have three investors who are getting out of real estate, and they're selling off four or five a year to not get hammered in taxes. And they have sent me deals with enough meat on the bone that I can purchase, and that have been pretty solid. If I'm looking on the MLS, I will see what's been on the market for 30 days, and I'll call up the realtor directly and just say, hey, what's it going to take cash to get this deal done? I really like the property, and with cash, you can get a cheaper deal. You can move quicker, and everybody loves not paying as much fees when it comes to closing.
Now, when you say cash, are you using actually cash, or is it like a line of credit?
It's been cash the entire time.
Okay.
I'll buy cash, and then I'll start the refinance process to get all that cash back.
Okay, so you've got some money. You're using that to buy the property, and then after you close on the property, then you refi, you get your money back, and then you can buy something else.
Yeah. And, a lot of times I'm buying properties that need a little bit of work done. So if I can buy it right, have my guys do the work, and, have cheap labor done and up the rents or put a tenant in there, I can get an ARV that's much higher than what I paid for. And then when I take it to the bank, the appraisal is good, and I can refinance that cash back and maybe be all into the property for $5,000, $10,000.
So tell me, like, the price range that you're looking at. Like, how much money does it typically take for you to buy a property?
Well, it kind of depends on if it's a single family or if it's a 1-1 duplex, 2-1 duplex, 3-1 duplex. But, my moneymaker is a 1-1 duplex that I can get for right around 100. That
Okay.
doesn't need maybe $10,000 worth of rehab costs. And if I can find that deal and have my guys busy working on it for a fair price, it's going to appraise. If I'm all in 110, it's going to appraise for 140, 145.
Okay, so you're all in at 110. So you've got 110 for a typical deal. You've got $110,000 in cash. You buy the property, fix it up, and then you go to your bank, put a loan on it, and get your $110,000 back.
Or, be all in for $5,000, and after debt services, it's going to profit $500 a month. So, in a year's time, I'll get that money back.
Now, what are the neighborhoods like?
I would say that my neighborhoods are right around the C minus D plus area. But if you go a half mile up the road, you're getting into B minus B areas. They're kind of I'm in a small pocket on the east side where you can pretty much find good deals. The rent numbers are, really good. And within blocks, you have some better houses.
Now, when you say C minus D plus, everyone kind of has a different idea of what that means. But like, would you say the neighborhoods are safe? Like, would you feel comfortable walking around at night?
Oh man. Okay. Indianapolis is it's kind of different. At night, if you're looking for trouble, you're going to be able to find it. And I don't care if you're in a C or B area. It's out there if you're looking for it. I've lived in these areas, and I wasn't going around at midnight looking for stuff, but when I never felt that I was unsafe living in my homes in that area.
Okay. Okay. So it's not a horrible area, but you maybe just have to be a little cautious.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Well, let's take a look at your portfolio. So 54 rentals. It's a mix of single family houses and duplexes.
Correct.
Now, how much gross rent do you bring in every month?
It's right at about 54,000.
Okay. And that's going to vary, if you have a vacancy or something, but on average, you're going to bring in 54,000 a month.
Yes.
Now, when we look at your fixed expenses, your mortgage, taxes, and insurance, how much does that come out to be every month?
It's right at about 21,000.
Okay. And then in a typical month, how much do you spend on repairs? And I'm sure this is going to vary too, depending on what's going on. But on a typical month, what do you spend?
I would say probably $4,000 to $5,000 on average. Some months much less, but then the next month I could have to replace a roof or a couple furnaces. So
yeah. All right. So 54,000 in rent, 21,000 in taxes, insurance, and mortgage, 4,000 to 5,000 in repairs. So you're making $29,000 a month in cash flow.
Right.
Now, so what do you do with that? I mean, so you've got a full-time job. Do you live off of your job money and then save the cash flow, or how do you have things set up?
Yeah, I have a high yield savings account that I think is 4.5, which is pretty solid.
That's good,
but
yeah.
every month I'm taking that cash and I'm sending it right back to a property. So there's a lot of movement in my
Sure. Well, let's take a look at one of your deals and figure out exactly what you're doing. So tell me about this property.
So the last property I bought was a duplex that was on the MLS for I think like 95 or 98, I can't remember. And it was on the same street as another property that I own. And I mean, it's right in my pocket. And I toured it with my realtor and I'm like, man, this place is a dump. It had a new roof, it needs painted, it needs flooring, it needs pretty much everything. And it's just so close to my other properties. It's like I have to buy this because I can control who's coming into the neighborhood.
Yeah,
fixing it up. It's my contractor lives 5 blocks away, so it's going to be easy for him to work on, and it's going to give him a project for the next 6 weeks. So I just offered them. I said I'll take it for 86. And surprisingly enough, they accepted that offer, and we've been working on it for the past 4 weeks. It's almost done, and I might be 20,000 all into it. So we'll say 105. It's going to appraise for 145, and it's going to get $900 aside. So it's going to be a really good rental, and I definitely don't regret buying it.
Has anything come up? Like any weird things come up in the rehab?
Not on this one.
Okay.
I haven't had any horror stories for at least a year. I'm trying to think if there's anything that's kind of surprised me that I didn't see coming as far as my rental properties, and everything's been going really smoothly, knock on wood.
So as far as like what you're doing to properties, is it a lot of cosmetic type work?
Yeah, windows, roofs, flooring, minor foundation stuff. After 8 years of doing this, I finally have a guy for everything. I mean, there's nothing that could happen that I couldn't send a guy to go fix. And that's just such a blessing in real estate, because that if you have guys that can help you with whatever you need, you never have a problem, because you have something you can call on. So, I've gotten definitely lucky with the connections that I've made.
Now, how long does it take? Like, so you do the rehab, get the property all fixed up, get some tenants in there. How long does it take for you to be able to do that, the cash out refi, to get your money back?
Well, my banker, for whatever reason, has been extremely busy. And from what he said, is things are really starting to speed up and pick up, and he's getting busier. So the refinance process for me, which used to take 3 weeks, is now taking 6 weeks. So I'll try to start that process a little bit sooner, but it's taking me from the time that I send the email and the information, it's taken me about 6 weeks to get my funds back.
And there's no seasoning period. The bank isn't like you need to own the property for a year.
Nope.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So this property that we're talking about will be rented for about $900 a side.
Yeah.
Do you typically rent the places out pretty quickly?
I've been working with a lot of housing authority agencies, and they call me literally at least every other day because I'm a good landlord and I'm so involved with the process. They know that I'm going to return their text messages, answer their phone calls, return their emails, and I'm going to help them house, people with vouchers, homeless, veterans. I prefer working with them because they do a lot of the screening process for me, and they're paying, sometimes the full amount rent for a year, sometimes half the rent for 6 months. They have a case manager that's keeping eyes on things, and they do a really good job here in Indianapolis helping the less fortunate when it comes to, housing and getting back on their feet.
What percentage of your properties would you say are Section 8?
I can tell you that right now. I'm probably at 30% when I'm looking at spreadsheets right now. I'd love to be, 75%. It's just I have good tenants in place, and you don't really want to rock the boat, get them out of there,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome. I mean, it's just one less thing to worry about. That money is going to get direct deposited on the first, and it's just easy.
Yeah. You're not chasing down rent, which,
right.
So let's just look here. It's the 15th of the month. And so we're halfway through the month, and I still have $9,300 that's out there. So, and those are from tenants that aren't on a voucher program.
Right.
So tenants, like, I'm having to send text messages and collect late fees. And so that's an added headache to it, but what can you do?
Right. Now, what about paying more for properties today? I mean, the market's been appreciating, prices have gone up. You're having to pay more for properties today than you were a couple of years ago. Has that been hard to wrap your head around?
Well, it's definitely true. I mean, prices have gone up, and they've gone up so much in a year's time. It's like, when is stuff going to cool off? But at the same time, as prices have gone up for the real estate, so have rents. I bought properties where tenants were paying, $500 for a 1-bedroom, and I'm like, hey man, like, I can get $900 out of this. So rents have gone up just as much. So it's not necessarily been that much of an issue for me because I know where rents are right now.
Right. That's a good point. And would you say the same is true of interest rates, that you're having to pay higher interest rates today, but the rents are higher, and that's offset some of that?
Yeah, that offsets it too. What I've really noticed is I've been getting hammered with property taxes. Property taxes have been what's kind of like really put a dent in my portfolio over the past couple of years. I think just this year alone, I'm paying extra $7,000 a year just in property tax. So that hurts. But yeah, I mean, I think you just got to look at this long term, that over time, the rents are going to continue to go up. They always do. And rates are probably going to come down at some point. So I think you just got to look long term. And, the properties are probably going to be more profitable as time goes by. Oh, for sure. I mean, it's just part of it. I mean, if it was that bad, I wouldn't still be buying, so it can't be too bad because I'm still sitting here making offers every week.
If anybody wants to reach out to Chase, I've got his contact information on the website. You can find it at rentalincomepodcast.com/episode 531. If Chase inspired you and you're ready to buy your first rental property, or you want to add to your portfolio, reach out to one of our sponsors. They'd be happy to help you get started. MidSouth HomeBuyers, if you're looking for a property that's ready to go, all the rehab is done, instant cash flow on day one, check out midsouthhomebuyers.com. And if you're looking for financing on a rental property, check out Chaley Ridge at ridgelendinggroup.com, NMLS 42056. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast today. Make sure you hit the follow button. I put out a new episode every single Tuesday. And if you're following the show, you'll get notified when the next episode comes out. My name is Dan Lane, and this has been the Rental Income Podcast.